Of all fish to eat, you filthy wretch!
Welcome back, Spearfishing Down Under. Today is actually a little bit of a journey into the past. It was one of the last trips I did in my boat before my boat has been off the water. It's nearly a year now my boat's been off the water, and good news, getting a new motor coming up, so keep an eye out for that. Hopefully get my boat back on the water really soon. Keep an eye out, it's gonna be awesome. Now this trip was a trip locally out with a couple of the boys, myself, Paulo, Jones and another mate. We headed out together and it's beautiful glass out as we're leaving the harbour. Headed out the bars, not too much bar, which is a really cool thing, and it was looking like it was really clean and we're ready for a good day of shooting some fish. First spot I pulled up in is a spot where usually it's just got some really nice reef fish. As I headed to the bottom, I could see a really big grassy emperor. This is a fish locally that tastes fantastic and usually a little bit tricky, especially with the size of this one, quite a big one. I hit the bottom, a little bit of scratch. That fish just comes straight back into me. As soon as I pulled the trigger, ended up on the string. Now for me, I hate when fish end up on the string. In this area, you're trying to get them up quick, because when they're on the string, that's when a shark comes and bites it. You don't just lose a fish, but you lose your spear. Heading up the surface really quickly, looking for sharks, and I spotted a really nice cod sitting on the ledge right beside me. Get the fish up, sort it out, and my focus was to get back down, and I love shooting a cod. Listen, I don't like shooting on small spots because they keep the reef clear, but on bigger spots, I don't mind taking one because they are just so tasty. I headed down, and that cod was sitting in exactly the same spot. Come down above him, pull the trigger, outright stone. That thing didn't even move. Listen, if you don't want sharks to eat fish, stone them. Best way to do it. We drifted along a bit further off into a little bit deeper water, and the next drop I came down to the bottom, quite scattered reef, but landed amongst a big school of small tusk fish. Now these fish are beautiful to eat, really tasty, but they're the sort of fish that I don't like to take, a sort of fish I try and leave if I can. Yes, they're yummy, way legal, but I'd laid on the bottom, and I noticed when you lay on the bottom in moments like this, without being aggressive, without aiming, it's amazing how those fish will just hang all around you. This big school of tusk fish just keep coming, tusky, 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 followed by cod. Amazing amount of fish there on the bottom. This next dive is actually Jonesy filming. Finally get a camera on him every now and then. And as he gets down to the bottom, just a little bit further off the spot where I saw that big school of small tuskies, he lands on a really nice fish around that 8 kilo mark. Drifts down on it, and as they do sometimes, he just rolled and looked at him. Jonesy shot it in the head, started pulling that fish to the surface. Unfortunately, as I talked about a couple of weeks ago, he didn't pull it to the surface quick enough. And the outcome is me hearing him screaming out, "Help, help!" I come over to see a big whaler dragging him through the water as it's got a hold of his fish and his spear. Both of us together, this now is my camera angle, holding that line, trying to pull it out of the stupid shark's mouth. Unfortunately, that shark just bit that beautiful tusky in half. I don't know what it is about tuskies. I love eating them. I guess sharks are the same, because if a fish is going to get eaten, it's a beautiful big tusky.
Of all fish to eat, you filthy wretch! Oh, good tusky. What a waste of great fish.
Still got a bit of the meat.
Bugger. He was a good tusky too.
Oh, it was good, eh? Stalked him on the bottom.
Yeah.
A couple of dives later, Jones shot another cod and it went up into a hole. We'd anchored by this stage and he yelled out to me. He's like, "Tim, come and help me get this cod out of the hole." I breathed up, and it was quite deep water. I went down to get the cod out of the hole, but as soon as I got to the bottom, I saw the cod was deep in the hole. I looked across and there was a nice tusky. I got distracted. A tusky hung off in the distance, fished around that 6-7 kilo mark, and finally come in close enough, and I pulled the trigger and shot that tusky. Unbelievably, that thing took off, did a big loop, come straight back into my arms. He didn't want to get eaten by a shark. He preferred to get eaten by me. Very happy about that.
up to me.
That's right.
You did get him out a little bit, eh, that cod?
Yeah.
These are beautiful fish. I always love looking at the colours, but unfortunately for them, I love eating them more than I love looking at them. We decided we'd make a big move and move away from the area we're at and go and search somewhere else. Jumped in the water. The water here was clear but dark. It's an odd colour when you get that clean green. I dove down and I noticed there was a couple of really nice amberjacks on the way down. These fish make really good raw fish. They just taste really sweet when they're small, this size, a high fin amberjack. I picked myself one of those amberjack and I left it down. Again, it's a danger for sharks, but usually when the other boys are there and you leave your fish down, they were able to shoot an amberjack as well. The boys dove down, they got themselves the rest of those amberjacks. The next dive for me was to the bottom. And I come down on a really beautiful piece of country. It's an area I know really well. There's a nice cave and I've shot good jacks in the past. I've shot mulloway here. As I come into that cave, I see it just jam-packed with mangrove jacks. In the middle of it, if you have a close look, you'll see a really nice small mulloway. The jack spooked. One of the big ones come out of the cave. I lined up, shot myself a beautiful little mangrove jack. Gorgeous red fish, love those colours. They're amazing fish. Now, this was filmed during the middle of the year when we actually have a snapper closure. This next dive, I come down and I was pretty close to that area where I'd shot the jacks, but just off the back of the patch of reef, there's a big bowl. And as I land in that bowl, I see it filled with snapper. I couldn't believe it. I try to look away, don't even think about it. One of my favourite fish to shoot. I'm not allowed to shoot them. Looked away, I saw a little tusk fish, and I just thought I'd have one glance back to see what's going on. And this big, knobby snapper, white head where you can see him ready to breed, and just a gorgeous fish. And honestly, I was happy to watch it swim away, knowing that those fish were probably in the middle of their breeding process. As we continued the drift, we drift up onto a bit of a shallow area. An area I've shot lots of different fish before, but I've never seen mulloway. I dove down, it's creeping along the bottom. I looked out and I couldn't believe my eyes to see 3 smaller mulloway, but legal mulloway, sitting off in the distance. One of the boys in the boat had actually said they want a mulloway to eat. I couldn't help myself. Shot that mulloway. When I got to the surface, yelled out at the boys, told Borlo, can you believe it? He couldn't believe I shot that fish in that area.
You want to see something trippy? Alright, where's Borlo? Borlo. No, you want to see something trippy? Look at this. Look what I just shot. How's that? There's 3 of them there. Just on the edge of that ledge. I dived down to shoot a jack and there was like 3 Jews sitting there.
It was getting late and we decided to finish the day off. We were pretty keen on grabbing a couple of crays. So we headed to one of the spots where you usually get lobsters, and an area I like to maybe only dive once or twice a year. First spot we dove into is a cave. It's a big cave. Borlo followed me in there with the torch, dropped my gun, swimming through this cave and spotting cray after cray after cray, but unfortunately they were all small. Such a cool hole. I love this spot. Amazing spot. You can swim right through. 2 of us in there together in that cave. Huge cave. Next dive down, I see some antennas sticking out of a tiny little hole. I get down and I get my arms up in, one of the boys filming from behind. Had the camera off at this stage because some of these cray holes are so hard to get your head in when you've actually got a camera on. Arm up under that rock, cray digging down the back, and I worked my way out. The rock popped up and I pulled out a beautiful big ornate lobster. We have so many different cray species here. It's quite incredible that you can get ornates mixed with those red coral crays, coastal crays, all the different ones mixed together. It's quite an amazing cray fishery here in this area. Put my camera back on and I was heading back towards the boat and I dove down. I saw a hole and I thought I'd just have a little look under. From one side I look in, I can see a two-sided hole and a cray sitting right in the middle. This scenario for me is a painful one. It's the sort of one I know that as soon as I make the grab, he's going to take out the other side, go around the other side, go for the grab. Out he comes, and I'm chasing him along the bottom. So incredible how fast these lobsters can go. Kicking after him, and I'd been on the bottom for a bit, so I thought I'd take the safe option, and I shot that lobster. Now, if you're wondering, in Queensland you can do that legally. Obviously I'd seen him swim along, I could see he wasn't buried and there was no eggs on him, so I shot that cray. Just before we got to the boat, Jonesy told me that he'd found a crack filled with lobsters. And he said he dove and he'd shot and missed and just basically dived where his gun is. So I got to the bottom. As I was heading down, I could see a big manta ray swimming around the bommy. Wasn't focused on the manta rays, focused on getting some crays before we headed home. I saw Jones's gun sitting on the bottom. I looked in the crack, I could see a nice cray. Again, I could see there was no berries on it. So I aimed up, shot a nice cray out of that crack, and I had myself a really nice feed of lobsters. Chuck those lobsters in the boat, come back to that hole again, and as I come down, again, there was that beautiful manta ray. Headed down. Looked through the cracks to see if there's any more crays there, and I spotted a nice painted cray. Now, these ones aren't necessarily the ones that I like to eat the most, and it was a bit on the smaller side, so I left that painted cray. Listen, you don't always have to take everything. I left that one, saw the manta ray, and I headed back to the surface. The boys were already in the boat, and it was time to go home. It was an incredible trip, and thinking of it makes me remember my boat. A year without my boat has been killing me. Keep an eye out. I know many people ask me, where's your boat, what's going on? That's why I haven't had it. Thanks, Wes, for the ski. Thanks, Bryson, for the loan of your boat. But my boat's on its way back soon. I can't wait for that. It's going to be cool. Hey, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for liking, and thank you for sharing and continually telling everyone about our channel. We appreciate that. And as always, thanks for the comments. Thanks for the messages on Instagram, for the messages on Facebook. Really appreciate everything that you guys do and the love that you're giving for us and the channel. We love what we're doing, and we hope you do as well. Thank you. Catch you next episode. If you want some of our Rife gear, make sure you jump over to Adreno. Online or in store, you can grab the Rife gear. Use Tim Spear to get 10% discount for all of your Rife gear in Adreno.